someone runs and gets me an Allen key, and I fix my saddle. And while I'm doing that, Nate Jones is coming up the climb, and I'm going, Nate, just wait a second. Like, we can ride together the rest of the way. And Nate and I probably for like years have like gone back and forth, especially the Glendale battles. And he goes, F you, or something.
Oh, Mom.
All right. Hey, we're back. It's
I'm doing this one for Grandma.
Grandma, are you listening? Hi, I'm Matt Golson. This is Soil Cycling number 9. I'm your intrepid host here, back with our first episode of Open Season, Cycling Open Season. We've got a race to talk about. We got a lot of big news today. Southern Illinois Cycling is, guys, we are on fire. Things are really looking up. So we got a lot to tell you about today. We got group ride breakdown. We're going to talk TT helmets because I think we're like required. All cycling podcasts have to talk about that helmet. We're going to do a little Zwift coverage. We got Crit Series coming up. So before we get into Dirty South, let's just go around and see who's here. We got
Jeff Mox.
Hank Dieters.
Justin Pohl.
Gabriel Arnone.
All right, so this is our core group. I've been on the phone with Rob. Rob's kind of here with us in spirit. He couldn't make it tonight. Rob Landis, he's kind of our local champion, I think. That's why I'm going to call him now. Just had an hour conversation with him. I got some info from Rob. So, yeah, good group here. This is the core Soil Cycling group. So let's get into it. Dirty South recap. Jeff, you're going to be pretty short on this, but tell us your recap on Dirty South.
Yeah, I rang a cowbell at the top of the hill because my health wasn't there. I decided to just pull the plug and not try to hurt myself. So I'll do it next year.
You were there for all of us.
I was there in spirit, yes.
You supported your ride very well.
Not in spirit, literally there.
Yeah, you were there. You were there.
At us.
Did you have cookies this time, though?
I did not have cookies.
I still remember that from the Catalyst race, those cookies.
Showing up with cookies when you need them the most.
Exactly. I fell down this time.
His ex-wife wasn't there, that's the problem. He didn't have anybody to cook for.
Yep, that's it.
All right, Hank.
So I went into it this year. After my experience last year, I planned to go as hard as I could all the way down to get to the levee with a faster group than last year. And I did that. And I was with a group that was holding over 18. I think our average was 18.3 or something like that the whole way, which was great. I was really happy. But the problem was I didn't plan for how surgy that group was going to be. We were big watts, little watts, big watts, little watts, lots of 350 watt surges. And I paid a price for it. If I could go back, I would have pulled the plug about 3 miles in and dropped into my own tempo and dropped that group because I paid the price the rest of the time. Like, I never really recovered from the levee. I felt great, and when heading north, I was feeling good, but my legs eventually went sour about mile 50, somewhere just before the Trail of Tears, and I started cramping, and then I just had to go into limp mode. And I'd get back into it. I'd start pushing watts. I'd start getting back over 200 again, and then I'd start cramping again, and I'd pull back to 150. And that was the rest of the race. After, from Trail of Tears on after, it was just try to put down whatever watts I could tolerate without falling cramping, which I finally did at the
You did have a full cramp?
Shortcut hill, halfway up it, yeah.
Had to get off?
Yep, I got off. I'll have the video coming out hopefully this weekend. Of me grunting and groaning.
I've been looking for. I keep on checking every few days.
Yeah, it's a long video because I recorded. So last year my video was about 25 minutes long, and if you watch that one closely, I only recorded on the easy sections where I could get my camera out, turn it on, I could turn it and smile and talk to the camera. This year, because I had 2 mounted cameras, I had the 360 on the front and the GoPro on the back. I caught everything.
He didn't care about looking pretty this year.
Well, on the 360, I looked pretty the whole time.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, smiled continuous buddies in my teeth.
Every side's your good side.
Yeah. So there's a lot more footage. I'm going to have all the hard stuff and all the fast sections, and I'll have all of it. So it's going to be a much longer video than last year, but it'll cover the race from start to finish, including me walking up portions of Shortcut Hill before Jeff Mox could see me with the cowbell, which I could hear from down there, but you couldn't see me yet.
Nope.
That's that steep section. So once I got my head above that steep section, then I got back on the bike and I finished it out. So the full recap will come in the video. I had a great time. I finished in 4:13. Last year was 3:55. I had a better race last year, but I was pretty happy. Like, that's not a bad time at all, and had a blast. And Next year, I'm really looking forward to it because I've agreed to do the half with my wife on the tandem
Oh,
instead.
wow. Okay.
So I'm excited about
You could talk her into the fool between now and then.
That's my plan.
Colson has a great motivational.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
I will not
Shauna,
be
I'm
quoting
sorry,
you.
by the way, if you're not listening to this, but and that's Regular Guy Cycling. That video will drop when?
By this weekend, it should be out.
Oh, we love to drop a video. Regular Guy Cycling is got some really high quality stuff going on, and so check him out. Justin, now your report probably will be pretty short too.
No, I got this. I got a way to make this work.
Okay.
All right, guys. So if everybody remembers, single speed, 350, I think was my goal this year.
Yeah.
I want
You
to.
beat me.
I want to make an announcement to say that I finished my race in under 3 hours and 50 minutes.
He did. He finished it.
I finished
Wait.
it very, very quickly, and I would like to say that I finished the fastest of all the single speeders.
You might have been a first finisher in every group.
I think I probably was the first finisher in every group. But the thing is I tried out this whole new gear for like a 4018, and it just didn't work with the chain length / chain stay length. And every time I got over about 110 cadence, it would just throw itself off and get lodged in between the two cogs I had on there. So I was riding with Hank up at the front, and we were moving up, and life was good. And then I had literally the scariest moment of my time, like ever. It was even worse than the start. Is I had to like put my hand up, get sweared at by every single person coming up behind me, yell slowing down. And then I managed to slowly get off my bike and start directing people left and right around me.
Oh, you were in the middle of the road when this happened?
Dead in the middle of the road. I was on
saw
the
it.
center line. I couldn't have been more dead center of the road.
When I saw you, you were way off the road.
Well,
so
You were a little bit back then.
yeah.
So I was directing traffic left, right, and it took probably a solid 90 seconds for everybody to go by for me to be able to get my bike over to the side of the road. Ultimately, what ended up happening was I called it a day. I put the chain back on, rode a little bit. Mile later, popped off again. Pat was awesome and swooped me up and took me to the sag stop. So I sat there and rang a cowbell for 4 hours, waiting for everybody to come through. So I finished my race in 2 miles.
And I got the whole thing on video.
And you
sweet.
Pretty continuously,
Sweet.
including waving at everybody from the middle of the road.
Yeah. Okay, so perfect. You guys can watch that on Regular Guy Cycling's YouTube channel.
That was
You
gonna
can
be
watch
great.
my demise. But the one thing you won't get to see is me throwing my bike, which I'm glad that's not caught on camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much my race. Next year we do it on a geared bike and roll from there.
And just to let you guys know, that bike is currently for sale. If anybody's looking for a high-end, all-city, I'm not sure what you'd call that thing.
That's a
Single
professional.
speed,
Super professional.
super professional, great bike. With the right gearing, it can be really good.
And it comes with a derailleur hanger, so you can make it geared if you'd rather.
You could make it good if you wanted to.
Yeah, if you. Well, I won't call it good, but geared.
It could be my new road bike right there.
You could.
Put a derailleur hanger on that.
650B. Let's go.
Ooh, yeah. Now I need big wheels. Okay, Gabe, tell us about it.
It basically went as well as it could have with the fitness I showed up with. So, like, I don't know. My goal was under 4, I think we said, or right at 4. I'd be really happy if it was under 4. I finished at 4:02, I think, or 4:01:50.
Very, very, very close to 4.
Yeah,
All those new wheels did nothing for him.
yeah, it's something right in there. But yeah, I went as fast as I thought I should at the beginning, and my plan was to, kind of like Hank's, was get with a good group all the way through the levee section, and I did that, and unfortunately I didn't have a plan after that. So I let the groups go, and I think that kind of cost me a little bit of time because I mostly rode by myself after Silka. And also, shout out to Nate Jones.
Yeah.
I slipped a pedal going up Silka and like hit the nose of my saddle, and my saddle went like straight down. And
Dang.
I rode it that way all the way till I got to Matt Carey,
Yeah.
And I'm climbing that hill to Matt Carey, and I go, someone get me a 5 mil. And someone runs and gets me an Allen key, and I fix my saddle. And while I'm doing that, Nate Jones is coming up the climb, and I'm going, Nate, just wait a second. Like, we can ride together the rest of the way. And Nate and I probably for like years have like gone back and forth, especially the Glendale battles. And he goes, fuck you, or something. Or something. He maybe said something a little nicer, but I took it that way.
Yeah.
And so he rides off into the distance. I never see him again. And I go, well, that's probably what I would have done as well. So good
You're right.
props to him.
It's a race.
Yeah, it was a race.
Not a friendly ride.
And he knew what was up. So
He was going for it, too.
yeah. So
he came through pretty quick.
Yeah,
I tried to fix my mechanical as fast as I could, but I never saw him again. And I just kind of would catch a group or would get dropped by groups kind of the rest of the way. Couldn't really find my mojo. And then Jeff missed my mishap at the top of Shortcut Hill, even though everyone was standing there. So
Did you fall off the bike?
no, I didn't fall. I almost fell though. So there's the timing mats.
They slip.
No,
they
well,
spin.
no. So what happened with me was I was like basically to them, and I was kind of struggle busing at that point. But someone either from the half or someone on the full that all of a sudden got their legs, I mean, came motoring right next to me while we're going through the gates and brushes my shoulder, and I spin out and then I track stand, spin again, track stand, keep on turning my bars back and forth, and then I'm caught on those mats as well.
Oh, wow.
And I eventually, after about 3 or 4 different tries of back and forth and track standing, get enough traction to finish that hill.
I think I would have said something at that point in time.
Well,
Congratulations to you for
right
not swearing at it.
at the time, I was just thinking, don't fall in front of all these people with my big bike surgeon, jersey on, and
I saw several other people the time I stood up there spin out when their front tire hit those. They're just big enough, and that is such a steep part.
yeah. So that was
There were a lot of people spinning out there. Matt Johnston and I were rearranging them because they kept getting slid out of the way.
so that, from what I've heard, will be
Just get
fixed
off there,
next
run it.
year.
Yeah, they probably should be after the...
Yep.
Yep.
Right
On
after
blacktop.
the... Yeah.
Put 'em
Well,
on
so,
the-
but that was
Yeah.
had some friends from out of town show up, had some
Yeah.
friends stay with me, and seems like everyone had a good time.
Any first timers on the Dirty South out of that group?
Yeah, two of my friends from basically like childhood
Yeah.
came and
One of them's been Zwifting with us some. John.
yep.
So I knew
he's-
him. That's
he's-
cool.
He's from DuQuoin.
Oh, cool.
So,
Well, congratulations on that. And then, how much faster was that than, like, say, previous years?
I think in 2021 I did a 4:30.
Okay.
And then in 2023, I did like a 4:40. I was really hurting.
Okay.
But I think we said on other podcasts, I've never really taken my winter very seriously. And not that I did this time either, but I took it more seriously. And also had a strategy.
Yeah. Well,
Halfway through, you have strategy.
Yeah, so great point. Maybe have a strategy for the whole race instead of just half your race.
I'll keep
Just
mine
race half the
short.
distance.
I keep on trying to get Pat and Sean to let me do the half dirty, and they
They won't let you?
won't let me do it. And I want to like just wear a full face and like just my bibs and drink beer, and they won't.
You could just bomb that thing, though. It'd be kind of nice to do it. And just
So
go
I
all
thought
out.
I could maybe win the half if I really tried, but then JJ Miller,
Yeah.
I don't think I could beat him.
Yeah.
He did a heck of a time on the half.
And he was wearing a blue St. Nick's jersey, right?
Yep.
Okay, I saw him because I looked through the photos that Matt took and Matt Johnston took, and I was like, "Well, who's this guy?" I didn't, like I said,
I said the same thing as he
I
came up.
keep
I'm like,
hearing about
I
him.
should know him. He's in a St. Nick's
Yeah.
jersey, but I had never
think
met
I
him.
remember him passing me. So he started 10 minutes behind me, and I think he passed me, somewhere pretty early in the ride. So
About 10 minutes in.
So
yeah, right, 10, 15.
how'd yours go?
Well, I won't talk too long about it. I did a whole video about it. I'll just say that my GoPro problems. I'm not like Hank is taking over on video. I can't even make a GoPro record more than 3 minutes. Hopefully I got that fixed. So I have no video footage. I have a couple funny things I wish I could have got on video, but it was a great ride for me. It was way better than any one I've done in the past. Pretty consistent throughout the whole thing. Was kind of lagging a little bit in the Pine Hills area. Not quite feeling alive yet. Okay, but I was just kind of like, I just didn't quite have the watts. And at some point, I kept, I'd pass people. I'm really fast downhill. And I passed people, the people I was riding with. I was way fast downhill compared to them. I'd blow them away on the downhills, and then I was taking it easy on the climbs through Pine Hill. They'd catch me, pass me, and I'd blow them away again. And I was riding with Gene Gross and Katie and enjoying that for the most part. But eventually Gene said something along the lines of like, Golson, this is your time to shine. Heading to the biggest downhill of the Pine Hills, which is pretty technical, and I was heading into that downhill pretty fast and took a few risks, as they would say, sliding around the gravel a little bit, but really just kind of like came alive. I think it was those risks that woke me up because like I started riding pretty strong through there and did the levee was great. I got with a group of ladies that were that were cruising, and I managed to stay out of pooling for a while. I finally rotated to the front. They were very smooth for the most part, so I wasn't having too much struggle with that. And when I got to the front, I probably did 2 minutes before pulling off. And after that 2 minutes, I was like, I think I'm going to back it off. We'd probably been doing 17. So it's a little, it was really, really good till I got to the front. And then I was like, I wasn't bad, but I was like, I think I'm going to back off a little bit and save my energy. Because same as you, in 2022, I blew up on that levee. I got super pumped, was leading the group. I pulled a bunch, and then I blew up hard and never recovered. Like I never could get over it. So backing off and taking it easy for like the last half mile of the levee and just kind of recovering. I kept them inside. I was probably just going like 15. The wind wasn't as bad on it, so it wasn't too bad. I did great though. I had a great time through Silica Hill. I usually hate that part, but I was passing people on the downhills. A lot of skinny guys. I yelled when I got to Matt Carey. I was like, I'm passing skinny guys, Matt. That was always great. But yeah, this is strong. I cheated a little bit. I don't know if this is
weight doped.
I didn't weight dope. No, I didn't Zwift cheat.
He's on the sauce.
I saw a farm vehicle and I had the opportunity to get behind it. So Isaac was on my tail, man. Isaac, he's one of our Zwift buddies. And Isaac was on my tail throughout the whole race, and he was riding really strong. And I knew there was a group behind me. I'd been riding by myself after Silica Hill all through there, and I was keeping a group behind me. I probably should have slowed up and rode with them, but there was a truck pulling a big like manure thing, like a giant farm trailer, and I decided to get in behind there and draft that guy at a stop sign. I had to do probably like 1,000 watts to catch him because I went all out, and then when I caught him, I got in that draft and we were doing like 30, and I rode with him for like, I don't know, probably a mile at 30 miles an hour almost, half a mile at least. And so I never saw those guys. I looked back and they were just gone, So I don't know if that's legal, but I think in a gravel race, it's actually like
anything goes.
Yeah, I think
it's
okay.
in the spirit of gravel.
It was definitely in the spirit of gravel. But yeah, so Dirty South was an awesome event. I think, we can all agree that it was it's epic, and every year it gets better. I had this feeling, you can see if any of you guys, I had this feeling shortly after that tractor time when I got dropped off by the tractor, and I was just feeling good, and I was just riding through there. It's paved, it's pretty chill, and I kind of realized I was like, this thing's going to be over soon, and I was like, this is not going to happen again for a year. Like it was. I think I felt like I've never felt that way before on a ride. Usually I'm just struggling, and I was like, I wish it was longer. I was like, I don't know. It was just such a cool feeling because I was like, I just realized that I was like, man, this is like the only time this is going to happen until next year. But anyway.
And I've got a great picture of you. I'm going to send it. I forgot to send it to you, of you bunny hopping coming across the finish line. Remember?
I don't think I got more than about an inch off the ground.
No, you look like you were at least 3 inches off the ground.
Oh, cool, yeah.
It
But
looks bigger in a person.
Yeah, remind me. I'll send that
That's
to
cool.
you.
I'm glad to have that.
So I do want to bring up one more thing. About
Yeah,
the
please.
Dirty. So my wife was wanting to be here tonight, but she didn't have a good day, so she's not here. But she actually wanted to bring up Sag Stop, and
Very glad you
kind of just it was a great time. It's always great to come out and like help out and give everybody kind of what they need. But
and she's always done that Sag Stop.
She has.
I think every year I've seen her there.
Yeah, and the one thing that we kind of noticed this year is there was just less people taking advantage of it. Not in a bad way, right? Because that means everybody's got what they need, water-wise and food-wise. But there was just like less people there.
There wasn't a lot of hanging out, was there?
No, and there wasn't. And like this year with 750 people signed up, we expected to see a big influx. So I was just wondering what you guys' take was on why there was less people stopped, and then I saw a whole bunch of people cramping. Everybody
I know
came
what it
to.
is. Dylan Johnson put out a video saying that the U-Sweep water pack makes you more dynamic and saves you 3 watts.
Yeah.
So everyone's got one now, and no one has to stop for water anymore.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
I was gonna, somewhat on that. I'd say more people are taking gravel seriously, and the overall field is faster. So I looked at this when I finished with my 3 hour and 30 time in 2021. I think I finished 95th or 96th. I finished 30 minutes faster this year, and I lost 100 spots.
Same for me.
Yeah.
Fastest time I've ever finished, and I was the lowest placing that I've ever had
Yep.
when I actually did the ride.
So it's more of a race than a ride now. For at least the front, yeah.
The overall level has just increased.
Yeah.
I think the level of everybody. I know that I used to ride sweep on this ride, and so I saw the people that were treating it like there was 2 groups of people. There was the people treating it like a party ride, and there was the people that were like struggling to get through it. And I just maybe they were there this year, but I didn't see them. Just overall, the level is way higher. People, I think, taking it more seriously now.
But
The party
those people are not take. If you still want to be the party pacer
Yeah.
and still have an adventure ride, you should still take advantage
Yeah.
Yeah.
of the ride. I don't want to dissuade anyone
Yeah.
from saying like this is more racy. It
Yeah.
is more racy. There's probably like
It's definitely more racy. Every year it's probably going to get more racy, too.
but the vibe still is inviting to people.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's what I was telling Rob, because me and Rob were talking on the way here again, and he was like, we did GEO, the Great Egyptian Omnium, and had a marketing budget and never got over 300 riders, and we, and it was a legit sanctioned road race, and he goes, you guys got 750. I told him, I was like, it's just gravel, man. I said, people want to come ride gravel that want to take it seriously and race. People want to take it as a personal challenge, kind of like I do, and people want to come like Arzen did. He just, he finished in like 5 hours and 47 minutes because he was like just chilling.
was
the whole
party
time.
pacing.
He was party pacing the whole time. And
I'd like to know if you know the bacon and bourbon stop people. How many people stop for bourbon and bacon these days compared to previous years? I wonder if the party folks, there's less of them, and everyone's getting.
I think there was always people hanging out there, like they'd stop and not want to start. And I didn't. I never even stopped. I just took a bacon on the run.
Yeah. You took a bacon. I called it a bacon. On my video, I said, I'll have a bacon.
Give me a bacon.
A bacon. I questioned it.
Bacon what?
But that's right. You just called it a bacon, too.
I have a good story.
Yeah.
It's not my story, but my buddy John that we mentioned that came into town for the race, I guess he was on a road bike with like 32 mil Gravel Kings on it and didn't quite have the gearing that he needed. So I think he dropped his chain or something up that little climb to get to Matt. And he's pushing his bike up to that section. And him and Matt don't know each other, but Matt, I guess, did something to the effect, you need a leash for that bike? Looks like a guy. and John finishes the race and he's like, yeah, I stopped there. The guy had a really good joke at me and I was like, I think I know who that was.
I love that.
Yeah. So I do
Your
think
bike
quite a
for
few
a walk
people.
out in the
Yeah,
woods.
I think quite a few people I do think stopped, if I remember hearing correctly. But
I think a lot of people take advantage of it, but I don't think people were hanging out there like they did in the
Yeah.
past. At least, and of course, I was about 10, 15 minutes earlier than I normally get there. And, I think it was the year before last, he really saved my butt though, because I ran out of water, and I got water from him, and I had to spend a little bit of time there, kind of recovering. That was I bonked out, and anyway, so.
I want to say one thing. I noticed on the water stop, there was a lot more water stops. People out there, different places.
Oh, we had a lot of support on the ride.
Right,
Yeah.
so that may have been one of the reasons why there weren't as many people at the main stop. Is that
Yeah.
I saw several spots with people handing out water.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was sanctioned or
That was
friendly
new.
people.
That was
6 a.m.
private stops or neutral aid
Neutral aid.
stations. Yeah. Adam Scro's, I think, family. Was that the one down by at the bottom of
Tears.
Yeah, Trail of Tears, which they were. I wish I'd taken a bottle of water from them. I needed it, but I was like, I didn't want to just, I don't know. I just wasn't sure.
They had big bottles because the guy that I was riding with, he took a drink and he's like looking for a place to stuff it because it wouldn't fit in his pocket because they were big bottles. He was happy to have it, but he didn't know where to put it.
So I got one stupid story I'll tell you, and I'll make this short. But my chain, when I started to ride pretty early in the ride, first time I tried to shift, I was like, this shifting sucks. Now my gravel bike, I had it like tuned to perfection, man. And right before the ride, Thursday night, I took the back chain off. I soaked it in 400 gallons of solvent, and I waxed it, because Dylan Johnson says you should wax your chain. All these guys, I like chain waxing actually. Actually, I'm into it. But I waxed my chain. I put it back on Friday night, and I rode around the neighborhood, and I'm like, oh, it's so smooth. It's like buttery smooth. Like if you've never had a waxed chain, it really feels like your drivetrain is like the smoothest it's ever been. And then it didn't shift, and I just thought, I'd done something wrong, I blamed the chain wax. I didn't think couldn't have been me. I was like, that chain wax sucks, and then I got home and I looked at the bike later and I realized I put the chain on backwards. Shimano chains have a front and back, and they're keyed to kind of go up those big gears, and so
That's why we SRAM.
Yeah, SRAM does front and back too now.
No, that's why we SRAM.
that's why you use SRAM.
That's why we use SRAM.
That's why you SRAM.
Yeah.
You can put it on either way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
Spit on it, it's good.
So it didn't cost me a lot of time, and it was really not a big deal. But I did drop my chain once, and I'll throw out one more quick, kind of like I said, Rob gave me a quick ride report to share. He dropped his chain twice, and he had a flat tire. He finished way before any of us, 3 hours and 30 some minutes. So he was we'll talk more about his results when we get Yeah, he's the second fastest finisher in the Soil Grand Prix, which we'll talk about in a minute. But he just wanted to say how he felt blessed and wanted to take a moment and thank, God and everyone, all of us, and that he could do this again because he couldn't ride for 10 years. And that was pretty awesome hearing him talk about just because like Rob was the man 10 years ago, but he has and in 1 year he's gone from being like back to riding to now being the man again.
I was gonna say, he's the man again.
He's the man again, yeah. So I think my buddy Luke has a short story of riding with him the other day, and he's like, his zone 2 is my zone 4. I'm like, yeah. So okay. Well, with that said, tell us about Soil Grand Prix. We got a big announcement. Woo!
Yeah.
Woohoo!
So I think the Soil Grand Prix, we've talked about this previously, but it's maybe not been under this name. I think it's had multiple names. The Catalyst Grand Prix. I think Matt had another name for it at one point. But it's more just friends that are going to do similar races, fun gentleman's bet sort of thing. So I collected quite a few people's names that I would all do. They did the DSR. They'll probably do Glen Vegas, and they'll do the nature race in the fall, most likely. I was like, here's all the people that will probably do these races. And I also put the Klaus race in there just for Matt. But
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So I just collected some data from the DSR, and I plugged it in there. And if you want to join, it's free.
Did you hear that, guys?
But not to enter the races. Those aren't free. But
No.
to join this Soil Grand Prix, if you want to do the Glen Vegas Gambler and Klaus and the Touch of Nature Spooky Race, and possibly you already did DSR, you can enter. You just have to send one of us an email, and I will look up your result and I'll plug it in. And I'll probably share that Excel file at some point so people can look at that.
Is there going to be a point system based off of the
You know,
type of race? Because DSR is a very different race.
I thought
So-
we'd kind of hash this out a little bit.
Okay,
tonight.
so
That's where
And
I'm
then the other races are sport, beginner.
yeah, so the Glen Vegas race this year is, of course, like a usual, expert, sport,
Right.
beginner, but the expert and sport are both racing 2 laps. So
Oh, good. Okay, so you're going to need to do expert or sport in every. Well, as
Klaus
long
is
as yeah. That's
Yeah.
Klaus is going to be. Klaus is going to have beginner, sport, and expert too. I think
But you're not
Well-
allowed to be a beginner. Sorry.
Well,
you can't
so,
do beginner.
So I have one person on here, Austin Hines, who did the half dirty.
Yeah.
I put him at the bottom, but ahead of people that did not start the race. So if we take that as a thing, we could still plug you in. You're just not going to score as high, but you will be competing against people that also did that, and you can, take that as you may.
Percentage of winning time?
I like now the way I did this when I did the time trial of the thing I used to do is you got a point for every rider you beat. Now that may not work here because we don't know how many people. We know we're going to get this huge response to this, and we're going to have many more people that want to join up. So also I'm not sure how that's going to work. Percentage of winning time is cool. It's going to be kind of weird if it's just based solely on time, I think, because somebody like Barry Parks, who is, I think his time in DSR doesn't really represent the quality of bike rider he is, but he's going to smoke me like in the mountain bike races, and a lot of people. I don't know. I mean, I was trying to figure out a good system
think
for this, and I don't know
how we
what it
did
would be.
the Catalyst races is that you got a point for the place that you got,
Okay.
and then over all the races you collected points, but your objective was to have the lowest score wins.
Okay, that's another way to do it. Yeah.
And so here, Mr. Ian Bolton, who I think might do some of these races, has 1 point.
Yeah.
Rob-
Golf style,
Yeah.
lowest score wins.
Lowest score wins.
That's a good way to do it.
So
Amongst all the competitors on our list.
yes, amongst
Yeah.
people on the list.
Okay.
So you have to be part of the club.
So if you join,
You'll be
And-
ahead of me.
yeah.
And me.
So we can't really know the winner until
Well,
we get a full.
3 out of 4 races. Is that
Right,
what
you
it
can
is?
drop one, right?
Yeah, so we have 4 races in there right now. You can drop
That's
one.
spooky season 1.
I think it's a little heavy on the mountain biking.
Yeah, I think so too. It's okay.
Well, if you know of a gravel race that is in
I don't know one.
in the area
Yeah.
and is a grassroots race,
Yeah.
it is a possibility we could include this.
No,
This is
Time trial.
this is all just friendly.
Yeah.
Get people to races, meet new people, gentlemen's ladies
Right.
bit.
It's just a way to make it interesting throughout the whole season.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
So
tie it, and also too. I mean, this is going to help me go to races. I'll be like, I better go. I might get a good result. Maybe I think that's a good idea. I also could see us like throwing together a little Soil Grand Prix Championship, maybe gravel race or something, sometime in the late fall after Spooky or something. Maybe like everybody on the list wants to come throw down one time.
a half
Half
or
dirty.
an east
Side. Well, we'll make it where people will want to come. Nobody wants to drive from 2 hours to go ride. I don't know. But yeah, so this is an awesome idea. You need to become a part of this if you think you're going to do a bunch more riding. And there's people on here like we got people who aren't mountain bikers who do gravel riding, but hey, you know what? You can become a mountain biker now. You could probably do better than you think because those skills aren't that far apart. So yeah, now's your chance to get into, I think, the hottest series. You know, you gonna do some mountain biking, Jeff?
I might stretch.
Yeah.
I was hoping we get some road races in there because I'm a road guy.
I thought, like, what happens if we do Beautiful Southern or whatever as a race?
Well, I thought
but it's harder. It's harder to do,
Yeah.
and
Well, I was half joking when I said the Tour de Donut, but with no donuts.
It is a race.
Just really, it is a race, and you know what? Don't do it handicapped.
I've never been to it because I don't like to eat donuts when I bike ride because it makes me puke.
That's actually my next race.
So-
Is I'm going to do it, but
When's the
not.
Tour?
Not
Is it in
next-
July or June?
It's middle of July.
Middle of July.
God.
Staunton, Illinois, Tour de Donut. It's Gene's
About
favorite.
34
Gene,
miles. Okay.
yeah, it's like a time trial with donut eating. It's sort of a combination. I had never been, and I've never been that interested in going. Not because I'm like I don't. It's not that I think I'm too good for it. It's just I'm pretty sure that I would eat and puke, and then I don't know. You
don't
get like
have to
5
go.
minutes for
You
donut
get
or
5
something,
minutes
right?
for each donut.
That's stupid.
The first year I did it, I had 9, and I came in like second or third place in my age group, the
Yeah.
handicap. But like I said, this year I set a goal that I want to race it, just outright race it, and not do the donut stop.
And I know that like people would have a hard time probably not, because I mean 5 minutes per donut, you're going to probably stop and knock 10 minutes off your time. Gene wins that usually a lot. Katie does really well at it because they eat a lot of donuts and they ride really fast. I don't know. I'm not really sure about that one.
yeah, I'm open to suggestions. The
Yeah.
way it sits right now, all these races are close.
Yeah, these are all Southern Illinois. Staunton, Southern Illinois too. It's up there
closer to
north
St.
of
Louis.
it's north of 64.
Yeah.
And that's
And,
where
you
the
know-
line cuts off.
Yeah, city pizza.
Screw you, Champagne!
Yeah, you guys are in the city up there in the Metro East, and we don't want no part of you down here in the South.
I just don't know of anything else that's road race
Yeah.
down this way.
Yeah.
That's about
So-
the closest.
Ride, we could do Ride to the Sky as a race.
Yeah, exactly. But
Probably not.
You're one of those.
but again, probably get a hold of myself or Matt. Or
You can respond. You can comment on this. We'll
Yeah.
add you. There's all kinds of ways you can get into this event, and you don't have to have rode the Dirty South. That's another thing. You will be a DNS if you join on the Dirty South, but you can drop one ride. So if you plan on doing Glen Vegas, Klaus, and Spooky, Touch of Nature Spooky, you should get in on this. And you know what? I said some negative things about Klaus last year just because I don't like that trail. But I'm going to go back. I was going to go do the race anyway because it's kind of a fun little trip. And I thought maybe I'll go back and try again this year and see if I can do better. So this gets me there anyway. I think it's cool. I'm glad you're doing it. I got dissed by some other guys that were going to go, not dissed, but dropped. What's the word for being stood up? Stood up. I got ghosted by some people in this room that said they were going and weren't there. So maybe this year we'll meet.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who that could be.
All right.
Yeah, who was that? I'll be there for sure. What up? What else is up?
We got the group ride.
Group ride. This was a topic that Gabe brought up, and I've always wanted to explore this topic. So Gabe, you're going to tell us about a group ride breakdown.
Well, in the sense of we've had multiple conversations, Matt and I privately, about things that drive me nuts during group rides.
Yeah.
And then also, I wouldn't mind just telling everyone the group ride's coming up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so group rides that are coming up, I'll say the Bike Surgeon one's first. I'm a little biased there.
Yeah, that's
We
all
got
right.
Wednesday nights. Everyone is pretty much invited to the Wednesday night mountain bike rides. Like, there will be a group for you if you show up. Then we're going to do the Saturday morning road rides. This year, I am kind of being a little more cut and dry. You probably need to be able to maintain a 15 mile an hour average. And I say this with love.
That's a Saturday morning, right?
Yeah, Saturday. But I have
mountain
to
bike ride.
I have to do the ride and make it back to the shop
Yeah.
before we open. So if you cannot do that, I want to encourage you to come and talk to me, and let's figure out a time for you to ride with other people if you want to do so.
And you could always start that ride.
Yeah,
I mean, it usually
for sure.
starts. It's not going to get fast probably for the first 4 or 5 miles. Probably. I mean, it's going to be probably averaging 14 or so until some of the hills.
We cross 13.
Yeah,
usually.
and then it gets fast. And if Jeff Marin's there, it's going to get real fast on the tandem.
We've been better last year, and I somehow having Justin here, he was a really good ride leader. We kept the groups mostly together.
Yeah.
A lot better than I was able to. But so we have the bike surgeon ones, Justin, or we'll bring up Tuesday nights here in a little bit. But then St. Nick's. St. Nick's, I'm looking at their page right now. They are doing Tuesday nights at
Right now, this is the opening ride. They are riding right now as we speak.
Yep, at 6. Sorry, we were a little late.
We're not going to make it. Don't wait on us.
But yeah, in Des Moines at 6 p.m. And then they're doing the Wednesday at 6 p.m. as well. And they say both rides are...
And Wednesday is at Murfreesboro,
Yeah.
MDH, St. Nick's Airport Edition.
Yep, 20 to 30 miles. And then...
That one's pretty hilly. The one up out of Des Moines is consistently pretty flat.
Yeah,
So,
I've only
choose your
done
poison.
the Murfreesboro ride
And
with them.
Thursdays?
And I
on
think... I know at least one rider who's getting back into it who says he's coming to the group rides this year who is not going to be, and no offense, he's not going to be fast. So,
You talking about me?
No. Tuesday night, St. Nick's ride.
I can hear you.
No, this. I think we might, hopefully, because I love that ride. I've been doing it for a long time. I want to see it grow because it was kind of getting weak last year. It was not really having a consistent A and B group, so I felt really bad for the B group riders who showed up and then got dropped. I want to see, hopefully, that ride gets a B group and sticks around. So yeah, get up there. Don't worry about how fast you ride. Come up to St. Nick's, and hopefully you won't be dropped. I can't promise you. I can't promise you.
And then did we want to touch on the pet peeves or not?
I want to touch on pet peeves. I want to hear what you don't like about group rides.
Okay.
Group ride leader, Gabe.
Yeah. I'm a quiet person by nature.
Yeah.
And
He says as he's yelling at people on the dirty.
I'm really, yeah. And then I have a hard time calling stuff out if I'm at the front. And I think this maybe comes from starting in mountain biking, that no one talks to each other besides when you all stop.
Yeah.
And you're at the trailhead and then you talk about how maybe you about died.
Yeah.
So I don't call anything out on a road ride unless it will cause you physical harm.
And let's go back real quick. Call out.
Yeah,
For those
sticks,
not
sticks,
gravel,
gravel,
car up, car back,
Armadillo.
armadillos could cause you harm.
groundhog for Corey.
Cars could cause you harm.
Yeah.
Usually not if they're in the other lane coming at you.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. So I say this. I say
is the
this.
peeve calling out too much or not calling out enough?
Too much.
Calling out too much.
Too
Oh,
much.
He doesn't call out at all, and he's ticked about the people who
Yeah,
did.
yeah. So I've tried to be better about calling out some stuff because I know some people are scared of twigs, but it just I don't.
Just lead everybody away from it.
I do.
And sweep over.
Well,
and
usually.
No, you don't call it out. I'll point. I don't say anything.
I usually do hand signals. I take my hands off the bars and do hand signals, but
The hand signals are good. I like that. People do the
I usually tap
yeah.
the thigh, so I'm a little
Yeah.
closer to the bar. But
I like people calling out big holes, like potholes.
yeah,
Something that's going to give me a flat or maybe go OTB.
yes.
Over the bars, for those of you.
Man,
We don't want to go OTB. I do not really like people calling out car up, but sometimes I do it just because I want people to be aware.
so this happened during the Dirty. I know probably we were supposed to stay at all times on our side of the road.
If there is a side of the road.
Yeah, we didn't always do that.
Yeah.
And there was a few times towards the front that the group was the whole width of the road. and there was a car coming up, that is an appropriate time to call that.
That is a call. Have any of you guys ever been in a road race with the, I know you probably have, centerline rule? Have you been in road race centerline rule?
No.
Okay. That is one of the most stressful, weird, like, scenarios you can be in your life. Because you're in a group of packed, I was in one road race, I was in a group of 30 people, and you're supposed to pretend that you could in no time ever cross this yellow line. Even if you can see 100 miles into the distance, there's a guy following behind, and you're not supposed to, and if somebody accidentally passes that line, and it's for safety, and people die because they get on the other lane and go over a hill and die, and it makes perfect sense. But it is weird because you're clustered together inches from each other, and you have this tons of space to your left. And we don't do that on the dirty. People take up the whole road. It's making me nervous a little bit.
So I got a funny story about one of those moments. I was down in Arkansas doing a race, and they had the center line rule. But what they didn't have is a right line rule. And there was a shoulder. There was like rumble strips.
Yeah.
And then there was a shoulder like we have here a lot.
Yeah.
Nobody was taking that. And it was smooth tarmac. I just took it and jetted up the inside and rode it all the way past everybody and attacked off the front.
It's the road. It's the shoulder.
It's the road.
I think it's fair game.
And I got some really vocal riders from the main side of the road, but I was like, you could be over here too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to sound too harsh with this. It's okay if you call things out.
Yeah.
I just sometimes get annoyed if there's like a line of cars, and I've been on some group rides, and it's usually not around here. It's in other places. There is a line of cars, and they've called out every single car, and it annoyed me a little bit. So Golson and I have joked multiple times about me doing this segment. Yeah. And here it was.
Oh, pet peeves. Who else has got a pet peeve on a group ride?
I hate surging. I hate when people get on the front. And I think it's mostly an inexperienced thing with riding and riding in groups is you get on the front and you think that you should be doing 28 mile an hour all the time. And the group hasn't been doing 28 mile an hour, but you just want to get up there and raise the pace. And next thing you know, everybody behind you surging, gaps are opening, everything's falling apart. And then you pull off because you're blowing yourself up. And then we got to wait on you at the top. Just roll smooth.
I've done that a few times.
Oh, that's okay, Colson. We still love you.
I still love everyone that shows up to the ride, even if they do that.
Yeah.
But just don't do that.
Yeah, try not
Please
to
don't do that.
Yeah, I try not to. I try to be good.
I will chase you back.
So, one good thing, I don't know if St. Nick's does this. On our group rides here, we usually have some designated sprint zones.
Yeah.
Some segments I would go for and whatnot. So we have those times that if you want to go hard.
Yeah, like Honker Hill.
Yeah, we do Honker Hill. We do the Jeffrey to Ivy sprint on the way back. Also, if we go down,
I love it. I hate it.
If we go down to by the casino by Walker's Bluff, we have
that's a sweet sprint zone right there.
The road section that you can kind of do a small little TT on.
That one yesterday.
Yeah. So I think that helps with that if you can organize those into your ride. But
any other group ride thoughts?
I'm kind of thinking, if I don't have a pet peeve, am I the pet peeve?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I have fun. I'll ride at the front. I'll take
having
turns. I'll ride in the back. I'll call stuff out.
Yeah.
I'll stop calling stuff out. I mean,
Just when Gabe's around, you can stop calling.
Just do the right amount for Gabe. Whatever Gabe wants.
Yeah. I'll see if there's a red line coming up his face as we go along.
I won't say anything, but I'm just like, oh god, like every car.
Every single car. I've got one little pet peeve on group rides that always it doesn't really aggravate me. It's just I always just don't understand it. People who show up to group rides and they've got earbuds in. I like listening to earbuds when I ride. I do it when I ride by myself, but I would never go to a group ride and have earbuds in. Now the kind that the bone dudes.
Yeah.
Those are cool because you can hear.
Sorry, Golson. I do that.
Yeah, but you're a jerk. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, can you hear with them in?
Yeah, dude. I have full conversations with people.
Yeah, I forget. You're the youngest one here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pretty much only turn it off for honker.
Yeah.
Just so I have like the tunes to
Well,
get up.
I didn't realize you did it. I didn't mean to diss you like
No,
that.
it's okay. It's okay.
Feel
I'm still
bad.
sitting here.
Young people like think that they need to have earbuds in at 24/7. I don't know what they're listening to. That's so great, but like everybody
Listening
who's
to the Soil podcast.
yeah, there's
while I bike.
yeah. Are you listening to the Soil podcast while you bike? Well, I think it's time to move on to the stupid time trial helmet. I think we're, like I said, okay. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Have you seen it, Hank?
I don't know specifically
I got you,
what
I
you're
got
talking
you.
about, but I was a triathlete from the old days, so I am familiar with time trial helmets.
This is a little extreme.
Let's see.
Have you seen the spoof one where the guy's got the kayak on his head?
I've seen that. I've seen a bunch of spoof ones.
Look at this bad boy.
Oh, that looks like an alien head.
Dude,
Yes.
it's good, isn't it?
So,
Yeah, it's like a shark.
really
Candy gram.
Visma Lisa Bike, the pretty much number one team in professional cycling with all the money and all the big stars. And they won all 3 Grand Tours last year. They popped into, was Tiratico?
Yeah.
Okay.
Adriatico. Jesus.
Torino Adriatico.
Yes.
They showed up there with their brand new Giro. I forgot the name of it, but it's like super fast wind tunnel tested. It's basically a fairing you wear on your head. And I don't like it, but I mean, like, it doesn't matter if I like it or not. Like, who cares? My problem with it is that it's not a helmet. Like, it does not. It is like, if you think of what's the function of a helmet, Jeff?
Protect your head.
Protect your head. Yeah. That thing is going to break your neck. And so,
Just land on your side.
yeah, just land on your side. Don't worry about it. I mean, that thing, they probably have designed it with breakaway construction so that if you did fall forward, it doesn't snap your neck back or something.
See, I think the back would hit your back before your neck can.
I'm thinking actually whiplash injury.
If you haven't seen it yet, look at the picture. If you've ever seen Dumb and Dumber, the scene when they're skiing and he shows up with that ridiculous speed helmet on, it looks just like that. Just yellow.
All right, so I do have some thoughts on this. Like,
Okay, go ahead.
I've been keeping this inside since I saw the show notes.
Yeah.
So POC had their thing for EF.
I know the POC one.
You know the POC one.
Yeah.
It looks like the 1990s bowl
Yeah,
cut,
it's horrible.
like the flip out bowl cut
Yeah.
that every young lady had in the 90s, which is fine.
Yeah. Whoop.
But then like Ineos had their cask helmet that was like the big sperm helmet with the tail on it. And,
Yeah.
But the thing is, all these guys were running them oversized. So like, it's faster to have a bigger helmet, even if it doesn't
Right.
fit. So, and you kind of wear them back anyway, so it's kind of like fits weird. They just kind of, Jumbo Visma did what Ineos did or Team Sky did for years, and they just marginal gains it to the point where now they're wearing helmets that are 4 times bigger, and it's a full fairing. But I thought it was pretty, honestly, they're pros. Let them do whatever they want to do. I don't want to see it at my local TT. I'm going to do Tour de St. Louis in like 2 weeks. If I see one of those helmets out on course, I'm going to heckle that guy. I'm going to stop my race to heckle that guy.
I forgot.
If you want to beat me, wear one of those bad boys to the race. We'll talk on the day.
I just, like, we all know, everybody, I mean, you know that, like, if they took away the rules, and that helmet did fall within the rules.
Yes.
Like, they built it, it fit, there was a dimensions. It's just those dimensions didn't say how much the helmet could be in front of your head, I don't think. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not in the UCI, and I don't care. But we all know that if they took away these rules, everybody would be riding aero-faired recumbents, and they would be going quite a bit faster than they are now on those bikes. I don't think there's any doubt that if it was unlimited money and unlimited rules, we would not be seeing the bikes that we're used to. And maybe there's a place for that. Human HPV vehicle racing. Maybe that should be a totally different thing. It is a totally different thing.
It is a totally different thing.
And whatever. But like, I know that when you have the money to throw around and make a helmet like that, then every other team's got to like compete with that. Maybe it's making them a little bit faster. But anyway, this is not really our wheelhouse. I just wanted to make fun of it for a minute. And I'm glad. Thank you for letting me make fun of that.
Is it more ridiculous than the Aero socks? Than the ban on the
I
socks?
think Aero socks are... Yeah, I mean... I don't understand that. That's one I don't understand. Because Aero socks, I'm like... I've thought about buying a pair of Aero socks just because,
Well, they have the sock height. They have the sock height.
Yeah, you got the sock height rule. You can go up really high with those and... yeah, I don't know. I think the UCI should bring back puppy paws position and super tuck and whatever the hell you want to do on your bike, and get rid of the stupid helmets that look like
Forget Sean Hargis going pro. It'd be Matt Golson with puppy paws. Go pro. They bring it back.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Puppy paws is like a free 100 watts.
I cannot sit on your wheel when you go puppy paws.
Yeah.
No matter what the racing event is.
It's basically free watts. You should try it. Practice it. Get good at it. You'll be
I don't
faster.
get a good look at it because you're always pulling away from it.
You just lay your hands on the forearms and go, and it's 100% safe. I've been doing it for my entire life and never crashed.
I don't know. I tried it a couple days ago, and I felt it's scary as hell. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know how you do that.
It kind of hurts your nuts.
Don't ride a TT bike. Well, you got to tilt the saddle down.
Yeah, tilt the saddle down. I don't see how it's scary though. You're just raise your bars.
It's more the handlebars, putting the arms
Yeah.
out like that.
It's
It is fast.
it's also very unstable.
It's very stable. I can take my. You can. Yeah.
It's exactly opposite of what I said.
What you want to do is you want to practice riding with your hands behind your back, and then get lower. I've made some improvements in my health lately, and one of the things I figured out is that, like, if I'm on a ride, if I set up and I start stretching, it makes everybody around me completely nervous. I guess we should have talked about that in the pet peeve section of Golson on group rides. I have ticked off a lot of people because I'll set up in the middle of a group ride and just start like doing yoga and doing some weird stretches. I feel a lot better after that. I think it loosens up some artery or something in my body, and all of a sudden I get like blood flow back to my brain. But I swear, like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but like there's a lot of times when I'm sitting on a bike and I'm like, this thing is so stable. Now with those new Aero wheels I have, that's a little different. In the wind, you take your hands off the bars on those and you could feel it kind of wanting to turn.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah, Aero wheels not as stable. You get 50s on the front, you'll feel them sometimes.
Okay.
What we got next to talk about? What's next?
Winding down Swift season.
This is Jeff's wheelhouse. Tell us all
The
about
Swift Corner.
Zwift Corner with Jeff. Ding 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 ding.
This will be the last one for a while, thankfully. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to everybody that joined us. I think we had some really good turnouts. We had one race, we had like 10 people show up, which was a lot of fun. So Justin, big shout out to you for co-leading us and nagging me like, hey Jeff, you forgot to schedule it. Are we going to do one? Matt, you were there quite often. Gabe, Dawn, shout out to you for being our hare to chase down, give the 10-minute head start. And that's actually a good point for anybody that feels like they want to get out and race, but you don't have to be fast. The way we did our hare and hounds, we give the slower riders that don't want to treat it like a race, they just want to be a ride, you get a 10-minute head start and the rest of us chase you down. So don't feel threatened by this. It's just a lot of fun and a good excuse to get together. We had Isaac, and Isaac, a shout out to him. He was basically getting an FTP gain every race.
Yeah.
He beat his goal, or matched his goal at least at the.
Dude, he was fine.
Yeah, he's doing
He did
great.
well.
Yeah.
So we had Chris Seifert.
Most improved maybe of the year, Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac for sure. Yeah,
Definitely.
Chris and Eric were right there with Justin, hammering in that last group. We had Pat, John, your friend from the East Coast, which was cool. Nate, Luke, and Sean. So I don't know if I missed anybody, but
I think so.
So some ideas. I put a post in the Facebook group asking for ideas for improvement. Do better. It is a different day, different schedule, different kinds of events. I kind of like the way we were mixing up, where we started off with an outright race, and then we did this sprint thing that was kind of fun, and then we did switch basically to the hare and hounds, and I think that's kind of what settled in as a lot of fun, and maybe we can try that in the real world.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that would be pretty cool to try outside. It might take some finagling with time.
Yeah,
because the speed differences on Zwift are a lot different than they are here.
I think so.
But I kind of think it might help with the different groups. Where again,
especially if we don't have enough riders to throw. I'd love to have enough riders to have a fast group and a Golson group. But because I think trying to hang with those surges that we do in these crit races of what it definitely blows me up early in the race. So
me too.
My goal is to get you in the fast group.
Yeah,
Good to know.
yeah. So get rid of yeah. You want to drop Golson? Just pedal a little bit harder.
Just
Right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning. Later, I'm okay. Yeah, when the dope kicks in, I'm fine. But early in the race,
He does have to take a 2-lap break every.
Yeah, I need a break. Yeah, it helps a lot. Same as Zwift.
With the Zwift, I think I only showed up twice or 3 times.
Yeah.
But I remember, I think it was the one that there was quite a few people that showed up, and I remember my kind of middle group. Every single one of us was doing 3 to 3.5 watt per kg.
Yeah.
And I was getting so frustrated with that. The person in the back was also, I think none of us had ever Zwifted before.
Yeah.
It was the group, there were 6 of us that had never Zwifted and didn't know how to draft.
Yeah.
And
Drafting.
That worked out pretty well for me.
I know. We all blew up. Every single one of us.
It's hard to know if you're actually, if you're not used to Zwift, and it's hard to know, are you drafting or are you, because you might be behind somebody, but you're not actually drafting.
Yeah, that's I think what was happening.
And there's no wind, so
you can't feel with your face.
Yeah, it's just a little weird if you're not used to it. I think I'm pulling out of the draft a lot more than I realize it, and going harder than I need to a lot on Zwift.
Yeah,
I actually I do the dangle.
Yeah.
It looks like the pain dangle because I'm right there on the edge of
yeah.
It's starting to tell me you're too far off. You're too
that's
far
what
off.
I did.
And if you're there, you're probably
good.
If you're in 3 to 4, you're actually in the draft.
Yeah.
But the HUD doesn't seem to indicate that.
Yeah.
It tells you you're falling out of it.
Well, that's
but
why
you're
you need
not
the
like-
sauce. Remember we had this
Do you
conversation.
do the sauce? Do you the Zwift sauce on the races? Can you use that?
I did on the beginning races, and
Yeah.
then when my cardio started getting shot, I just said screw it, and I just did what I
Just
could do.
rode.
Yeah, I just rode.
All right, well, you want to tell them about this week's race?
Yeah, so we got one last race. Well, I don't know. This might not be. It might already be done by the time this is posted. But our last race will be this week, day after tomorrow, and we're basically doing a 20-minute FTP test. So it's just 20 minutes all out.
They've basically all been 20-minute FTP tests, more or
They
less.
kind of more or less
30-minute
have
FTP.
Well,
yeah.
We're doing this because I want to test my fitness and I want friends to hurt with me. So this is just misery loves company.
Yeah.
It's
So
fun.
how will that work? Will you guys all be just looking at your own blank screen?
TT bikes. TT bikes.
So that way we don't draft off each other. And
But you'll be able to see each other
Yeah.
up there?
yeah, well, as long as he doesn't drop us.
So the TT bike doesn't let someone draft off you.
No, you can't
You
draft
can't.
anybody.
Okay.
Somebody could draft off you.
Yeah.
But not another TT bike unless it's an actual TT
So
race.
when I used to do, we used to do,
Okay.
There's no drafting if you're on a TT bike.
Exactly. Well, that's what. Yeah.
It's like being in a vacuum.
When you're on a road bike.
So on actual road bike time trialing with the triathlon group SIE, what we would do on our Thursday night time trial ride is people after a while kind of knew what kind of time they would set in for this 14-mile time trial. And so we had a time, so the slowest person would go first, a minute 30 later, the next person, 20 seconds,
That's what
the next
they're like
person.
hairs and.
Yeah. So if you guys did that with your group, if you guys plan it right, you should all be racing for the finish line at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And that's kind of how we do our
should
hair and hounds.
That's how we do the Hare and Hounds.
Okay.
Yes.
This is just more of a fitness check going into the season.
And I couldn't figure out how to do it in Zwift, so it's just easier to let Zwift sort it out and just do. It's a 20-minute race with a leaderboard, and when 20 minutes is up, you are where you are. That's your distance.
I just don't know if you see each other on the
You
screen.
do. Yep.
We'll see each other for a little bit.
For a little bit. It won't be long.
For a little bit.
Won't be very long.
And even if we don't
Almost-
see them, we can still talk trash, in the chat.
I am so good at trash talking on Zwift. I will say
I'm just usually gasping.
I was
can't
really
type.
impressed though in the last race. I dropped you and I was really trying to encourage you, and I'm like, "Come on, Jeff!"
Yep.
And about 2 seconds later, I saw watts per kilogram go from 1.8 to 4.6. I'm
Yep.
like, "Yeah, I got him! I got him hooked. He's coming back!" And you did come back.
And then at the very end, I caught you.
Yeah.
But then I heard my coach on my shoulder going, "Jeff, I told you not to go hard."
Yeah.
And then you caught me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just let you have it."
Well, I was having power cutouts. And I didn't realize that I moved my dongle. I have a dongle. I moved my
That's what I've heard.
USB. Yeah, I got a pretty tiny little dongle that connects up to USB.
inch and a half.
Yeah, it's a tiny little guy. And anyway, so Amp Plus dongle. And I moved it, and I was losing signal all the time.
How many more times can we say the word?
So I kept thinking, I need to stop, go off my bike, and move that dongle. But I couldn't do it because I knew I'd get dropped. And so I was losing
I should have
power.
called out to Shauna to grab your dongle.
Yeah, Sean, get out of here.
Don't use that
Well, I guarantee that wouldn't have been a good deal. Not after the other day. Yeah, so the podcast gold. Right when Justin was nice enough to let me stay on his wheel until the sprint, and then you went hard, and I stood up to go hard, and it said 0 watts. Like I was probably doing 500 or so at that second, maybe 6 or 7. So I sat back down, and I'm like, I'm gonna let maybe 1,000. I let Jeff catch up because I was like,
1,200.
I've never been able to sprint at the end of these races. Like I'm too tired to sprint. So I'm like, I'm just going to set up and let Jeff come up, and I'm going to like destroy him in a sprint. So I set up. You caught me, and then I did 1,100 watts.
Yeah.
And
And I wanted to chase you down. I'm just like, no, I better not.
Well, you wouldn't have. Not with my 1,100 watts. My massive dongle. All right, so that's enough Zwift talk, I think.
Yeah.
So that leads into what the next. What's next for the Zwift group?
We're back on the road, baby.
Yeah, I think maybe
spring forward.
I mean,
Zwift
we'll
is
still
dead.
have it there. I mean, I might throw some workouts or something, or some banded rides, but it's going to be back burner.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to have it on like Tuesdays because I usually do like 2x20. So if you guys might join me for 2x20s or 2x25s or 2x whatever I decide is painful enough for the day, you guys are more than welcome to join. And then I guess
And that's on Zwift?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
I canceled Zwift at the end of March.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Mine's already gone.
All right, so I guess we'll do it. We'll do it at the refuge.
You can still ride with us on the
So past that is Thursday Night Twilight / Tuesday Night Twilight. Whatever. We're gonna be running it on Thursdays at Agape Christian. It is a race simulation ride.
It's not a race.
It is not a race. It is a race simulation ride. It
In
is
real life.
It is hard in real life. And Gabe said if you can't do 15 on the group ride, it's probably not ideal. It might be closer to 16, 17, 18.
So-
we do upwards of 25.
So here's probably the thing with this: someone that can probably maintain 17 on the road by themselves,
Yeah.
but can learn group tactics,
Well.
can probably still hang.
And even if you can't, you can do what I did. Hang with you guys for a couple laps and then just drop back and let you guys lap us.
Yep.
So-
And you
We
still
did
get a ride
years
in.
ago. That's
Yeah.
what I did. I'd ride as long as I could, and then I'd rest for 2 or 3 laps, and I'd hop back on, and then I'd hop back off. So
Yep.
You'll get a workout.
Oh yes.
I think this year's the
never
year
easy.
for the Thursday / Tuesday night twilights.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna.
Tuesday.
I think
Tuesday,
We're gonna
yeah.
I like the Tuesday night Twilight ride on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Thursday night as well. So
So just going back to the history of this is that it was supposed to be on Tuesday. I said, "Hey man, I really like St. Nick's Tuesday night ride. I want to go to that." And Jeffson's nice enough guy. We just started doing it on Thursday. You can't change the name of the Facebook group. It's like locked in.
this is all Matt's fault.
It's all my fault. And will we probably still do it on Thursdays?
Yeah, we'll probably still do it on
Okay, so
Thursdays.
thank you.
So that lines up nicely. Tuesday, St. Nick's.
Yeah.
Wednesday, you can mountain bike, or you can do St. Nick's on Wednesday, road ride.
Yeah.
Thursday night,
Come out.
Come
And
out.
just check with Jeff's coach before you do 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Because by the end of these 3 days, you'll need about a month off to recover.
Well, you have a choice.
Then you have Friday off.
You have Friday off, and
Or
then
recovery
Saturday
ride, and then Saturday morning we hammer it again.
Yeah,
we
Saturday
ride it
again. Yeah.
That's the silent bike ride.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to call
Yes,
things out
that's
yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
The silent auction and the silent ride.
Silent ride
In
with
memory of
yeah.
the previous rowdy rides.
I really think that this should blow up this year, and I want to see it blow up in 2 ways. I want to see it blow up with competitiveness,
and blow Justin up.
Yes.
and I want to see somebody that can be competitive with Justin.
I heard
And
Rob is planning on
Dude,
showing up.
Rob's good. Hopefully Rob will be back.
Someone invite JJ.
Yeah, bring
He
JJ
can
out.
make
I'll take it.
The
I'll
way
take
JJ undertalks his bike handling, not sure I want JJ.
fair enough. Maybe
he'll be on the front.
No.
some of the Paducah boys may come up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
they
Austin.
were fun.
Yeah.
I think they said they're coming to Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
Sometimes
We can
weekends, so-
entice them a little bit. We'll throw out some prize. There was prizes last year.
There
They
was
said
prizes
bike
last year.
First in the
Sponsored
bike
by-
surgeon.
Yeah, it was a good time. But like if you want a different kind of environment from that lame group ride where people are calling out the holes in the road and the cars. No, it's cutthroat.
Yes.
It's hard. It is.
It's fun.
It's
full gas.
It's friendly, but it's competitive, and it's fun, and it's hard, and dangerous.
Not really. I was gonna say we're pretty safe.
So I say we have a perfect track record of safety.
Oh no!
You
Ryan?
touched this.
Was it Ryan?
Yeah, touch that.
That was not.
That wasn't during the race. That was during the warm up.
That was during the warm up, and also too that wasn't under Justin's leadership. That was under my leadership, and that's why.
There's a reason why he's not in charge.
That's Hagler?
No. So when I was doing this a few years ago, and Thompson came. He showed up late because Thompson's usually late. He's not as bad as Sean Hargis, but he's pretty late, and sometimes. And he showed up. We had already done a bunch of warm up rides on the course. And Jeff and Christina showed up on the tandem, and I said, "Hey, follow that tandem." And I was in full blown like crit mode at the time, and I did one of those like Legion style turns where you basically take the entire road and cut it across, take the apex of the corner. And Thompson had no idea I was about to do that. Like, he didn't know the course. He was just following behind me. I think he was talking to me about something. Hey, go! And then all of a sudden, he's like, what the hell? Because I just plowed right into him.
He thought we were going straight.
And you were there, right?
Yeah, I was right behind you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys were jabbing away, but we had been taking this.
Well, guys, it's mysterious, but the show ends there. I'm not sure what happened, but there wasn't much show left. So we'll just wrap it up right here. I'll say thanks to the bike surgeon for letting us record there and being a great bike shop. Thanks for Gabe for getting it all together. If it wasn't for him, I would have never gotten into this. Thanks for Hank and Jeff and Justin for being there, and Rob for filling me in on what's going on. Thanks again, everybody. Great podcast. Don't forget to email us and comment if you have any questions. If you're interested in, being on a podcast in the future, or you have something you want us to mention about Southern Illinois cycling, please do so. Have a great week, and I'll see you out on the road somewhere, hopefully. Later.